Today is an interesting one. A band that I worked with, Whisperhead, got streams, to be precise, over 20k on their latest single. And while in the grand scheme of things, where rappers and pop artists are getting millions, this is not much, it's still a very nice achievement for a somewhat new band. And it got me thinking, I was dreaming to make a band that pops up for a while, and it is starting to finally happen, not only with Whisperhead, some other projects as well. And it got me thinking, what is the role of a producer slash mixing engineer in actually helping the band to gain those streams? This is based on some ads that I saw online where mixing engineers claim that their clients received the enormous amount of streams just because of their services. And I think it's a very important and healthy debate to have, and to put ourselves as music industry professionals in a humble shoes and gain the right overview of what we help bring to the table. Let's go! Hey, I'm Dr. Mike Trubetskov, and I'm here to bring valuable information on recording, producing, and mixing metal. So mate, please like and subscribe and share this around so that the value travels. Let's do it. And instead of me emotionally showing you the techniques I'm so excited with, the sounds and such, and talking about how that fits and this fits and the reasoning behind those choices, I decided to reverse engineer what has happened. I broke down a review that Whisperhead have received on their single, and this review highlights which elements emotionally connected with the reviewer and why. I want to go ahead, check this out with you together, and then go into the mix and show you which decisions have been made in order for these elements to apparently translate and connect. And I believe that this emotional connection is what is truly required for our job as producers, mixing engineers to be properly fulfilled. Let's do it. Let's read through this review together by Hot and Heavy Show and listen to a little bit of a mix to understand what we are looking into. Alright, you can see that this is a nice modern take on new metal. The band has executed their parts very well, and the reviewers highlight some of the very important elements. So, Hot and Heavy Show and Keeley say that the track Sterilized feels grittier and thicker, with a heavy chugging guitar pounding steady drums and a vocal line leaning more melodic than heard before. What caught my attention is grungy, meaty yet subdued guitar tone that feels tangible, as though you can sink your teeth into it. Nolan's voice feels delightfully discordant, inspiring feelings of unease, building tension and a hinge of fear. Rhythm section is equally impressive and is ultimately what makes the song as catchy and memorable as it is. The drums and bass are swinging and provide the groovy element amongst the grime brought by the guitar and Nolan's vocals. I asked ChatGPT to summarize this in a simple form so that we can attribute what is relevant in terms of production and mixing and what is relevant in terms of songwriting and where is this line coming through. The reviewer have stated that the tone of certain elements has contributed to the catchiness, which I believe is quite important in terms of my job here. Starting with the guitars. Gritty, meaty and subdued. Sink your teeth into those guitars. So, let's go through this tone. These are the layers that have been used in this mix, and basically we have two layers here. The main layer is reamped through my PV EVH5150, as expected with Horizon Precision Drive, pretty standard for this kind of tone, and then some sculpting has happened, as pretty much always. But then the second tone is a blend with the main tone, and this is a neural amp model of my custom audio amplifiers raw, which sounds like this. Just the main tone, blended with that CAA, without. I believe that this is exactly where sink your teeth into comes from, because that CAA subtly adds some mid-range information and the body which would have been otherwise missing from the standard 5150 tone. Moving on. Drums are steady and pounding, forming the backbone of the groove. These make the song catchy and weighty. Let's look into drums and bass, the rhythm section. I wouldn't say that these drums are anything over the top unique. This is Superior Drummer 3. The drums are actually programmed, and these have been processed with decent amount of samples, decent amount of compression, decent amount of processing, and the focus for the kick to have that low 50 to 60 Hz sub-range bounce to it, and the snare to have some significant distortion. And I think these just work nicely and have a pocket of the sound which suits this grungy aesthetic of the band. The bass locks in with the drums indeed, and you have heard how much distortion have been added. All together, they do form a nice core in the mix. Right? All the elements lock and do not step onto each other, which is pretty difficult to achieve in a thick mix like this. Finally, let's look into vocals. Nolan's vocals move between soft melodic lines that build tension and raw angst-driven screams that release it. The contrast creates unease and emotional build-up. So this means that, technically speaking, on my end, I had to approach the dynamic of Nolan's vocals accordingly, making sure that the clean lines are clean and create that uneasy feel, and the screaming lines just pound hard. Let's listen to vocals in isolation and see what has been applied.
There's a hatred in your eyes that I wanna sterilize. There's a hurt I can't deny, and I wanna sterilize. Soldiers willing to die for your cause, to give up my passions for things you adore. A liar compounding a doctrine of fear. I promise that I'll be one of these things. There's a hatred in my eyes, and I wanna sterilize.
Listening to these vocals, you can hear that indeed this sense of uneasiness is created by using that unusual pitchy reverbs and modulation and delay trails that step onto those vocals. But also you can hear that at a core, both clean vocals and screams are smashed really hard. You can really hear the aggressive compression hitting it like a wall and creating the sense of power, as well as really strong distortion. And I played around with distortion, highlighting certain elements of the mix, making dynamic shifts across the board. If we look into automation of those vocals, you would be able to see various aspects, different delays, different reverbs, using saturation and distortion, using lo-fis in certain sections.
Don't break from it. Your whole life will depend on it. My identity as a
From lo-fi to distorted to clean, this creates nice contrast and some volume automation as well to make certain sections pop. Let's listen to the build out of the track. That sounds cool to me. Now, let's draw some conclusions here. I now wanna answer my own question. Where is the role of a successful mix that was executed well and helped the band to carry out their sound versus the streams and the recognition that they're getting? I think that the good mix is essential to getting those streams because the song is exposed to more people and more people listen to it if it sounds good. If the vibe is translated the right way, which we have looked into the review and compared my decisions with their perception and saw that these match and align, which is important, and I do consider this job executed well. However, if the song is not marketed properly, or if the mix is great, the song sounds great, but the music is rubbish, it's not gonna go anywhere. So I feel like the role of a mixing engineer helping the band gain streams by creating good sounding product is only a supporter and helper, and absolutely not the hero on the pedestal. The hero is the band creating and writing amazing songs, and the producer and mixing engineer is the helper who helps them lift it, support it, and translate their message with their clear ears onto the audience for the emotional connection. On this, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for diving into this production with me and for your time today. I'm Dr. Trubetskov, and until next time, rock on!